And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Suwannee Sports Report. I'm Wayne Littrell, and I'm going to be joined tonight by some Buccaneers. I've got Terry Fillyaw right here. He is the play-by-play voice of the Buccaneers for River Country, and Coach Dettor. I've got Coach Will Dettor down here, and we're going to talk about the Bucs coming up here on the Sports Report tonight. Suwannee didn't play last week. They had their kickoff classic. It got rained out. It got canceled. So we're talking about the Buccaneers tonight because they actually did play a ball game. Of course, the Sports Report is brought to you by Roundtree Moore Ford. Roundtree Moore Ford on Highway 90 in Lake City, Florida. They have got the deal days of summer going on right now, and that means you can make no payments for 90 days, or you can get up to $5,000 off MSRP. Take advantage of that. What's not to like about Roundtree Moore Ford, Highway 90, right across from the mall in Lake City, Florida? All right, back with Buck Talk after this on the Sports Report. Stay tuned.
In the heart of the red zone is where the game is won, and you need a dealership that knows about scoring big. At Roundtree Moore Ford, we've scored this area's largest selection of new and pre-owned inventory. And right now, we're scoring rates as low as 0%. It's time to get out of the stands and score big in the Roundtree Moore Ford red zone. At Roundtree Moore Ford, the customer always wins. So make your next ride a touchdown at RoundtreeMoreFord.com today.
Sometimes you just need a bird's eye view. Call Bird's Eye Roofing for a free estimate. Visit www.birdseyeroofing.com or call 386-935-6559.
Ready for the job on day one. Malcolm Hines is running for the District 3 Suwannee County School Board seat. He is a veteran, an educator, and a leader, having served 26 years in the U.S. Army, retiring as a sergeant major, holding a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees. Being a former Suwannee High School principal, assistant superintendent, and director of safety and security makes Malcolm Hines the man for the job. Vote for trusted conservative leadership. Vote Malcolm Hines for School Board District 3.
Paid for and approved by Malcolm Hines.
And good evening. Welcome back, Bucs fans. I'm Terry Fillyaw. I'm here with new head coach Will Dettor of the Branford Buccaneers. Coach, 7 p.m. kickoff last Friday night was scheduled. He's already started laughing, yes, because by the time we kicked the ball off, the game should have already been over, and we should have been halfway home back to Suwannee County.
Pretty much so. Yes, pretty much. I think kickoff was around close to 9:35, 9:40 before we got going, and it didn't wrap up until right after midnight.
Right after midnight. That's a first for me. I don't know about you, but I've never started a game in one day and ended it in the next.
I think that was the first for me as well.
Well, I know that when we went over to Jefferson County, got to Osceola Christian, and by the way, just want to give a lot of compliments to the fine folks over there. Athletic director Coach Gray did a great job in accommodating all of us. It was top notch. But when we walked up on the field, I saw you and I made my way over, and you had your phone out, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, this might not be good news. So when we got there,
Yeah, it's that time of year, in Florida, where it's hit or miss, 50-50 on whether you're going to get weather or you're going to get a nice, beautiful day. And so we got the weather, unfortunately, but we were able to get it in, and that was good that we were. But it was touch and go there for a while.
yeah, and I saw all that red on your phone, and I was thinking, boy, I hope that's the heat, because if it was, I think that would bode well for the Buccaneers. But unfortunately, it was severe weather,
Correct.
and the lightning delayed us for well over 2.5 hours before we got a start. Um, what did you say to your coaches when you saw that the weather coming was going to be severe?
Well, the first thing is just trying to, make sure everybody's safe and getting off the playing area. We were about to go out to warm-ups and making sure everybody got in the locker room and, got off their feet, and was staying hydrated and all those good things. And just basically, it's a traveling circus. We got a equipment trailer. We got, 2 buses of players going traveling and about 13 or 14 coaches. And so just getting everybody in the right place and in stage for whenever we may be able to get on the field. And that was the thing we didn't know. We were pretty sure we wouldn't be on the field for a good hour. But then from that point forward, it was like, check back in every 15, 20 minutes. Then the lightning would pop again, and it just kept pushing it and pushing it. So basically, just telling the coaches, hey, keep your heads in it, keep the kids' heads in it, and do your best to do so, and just be ready when we get the call.
Well, and the heavy rains did come, and the lightning show did come. How did that change your game plan?
Well, initially it really didn't change our game plan too much. Both our offense and their offense are very similar. We throw the ball quite a bit, as do they. And so we just had to really see what we could get and see what we could execute. As anybody who watched the game could see, we struggled with the snaps some. But we were actually on the first drive, completed a couple passes, and we're marching right down the field with it. So we were overcoming the weather at times, but then at times it was getting us as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I saw big number 61 wasn't dressed out for the Branford Buccaneers, but he had an important job. He was actually over near on the Osceola sidelines, and his job was to keep the balls dry as much as possible. But I think it was impossible. I hollered out to Robert Gaby. I said, keep those balls dry, but it was just an impossible task to do.
Yeah,
And
it's always a challenge. I mean, the ball, it's gonna get rained on going out there to where it's placed. It's gonna sit down in the soaking grass, get rolled around for a bit or two before it gets snapped, and then so it's just one of those things.
And, as you plan defensively for this team, you said it, very similar. I mean, the quarterbacks, you've got Wiles for Oscilla, and then you've got Trent for
Mhm.
us, and the two could pass for brothers.
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities between the two. Both have good arms. Both have got multiple weapons to throw to out on the perimeter and down the field. But both of them can hurt you with their legs too, and they can run the ball, which Osceola's quarterback was their number one piece of their offense of attack. And he got outside on us a few times and extended some drives. We did a pretty good job all night long of containing him. But yeah, those two quarterbacks are relatively similar.
Okay. And I noticed too during the game, or we noticed also that, there were several times when Trent was on the sidelines and either Ollie James or Luke would come in at quarterback. Was there something wrong with
No,
Trent?
no, nothing wrong at all. That's just a offensive package we have, where it's a double tight package, kind of like a wildcat package, if you would. And we get just getting our playmakers the ball in their hands early on, or directly with a direct snap to them. We bring in two tight ends and expand our gaps across the front and give ourselves a good opportunity to run the ball.
Yeah, I called it the sniffer offense because you had those two guys
Right.
up in tight right behind the guard tackle spot, and then you'd put Ollie or Luke back there and just gave you some extra blocking backs. Effective offense. I just wish it hadn't been so wet on Friday night so that we could have really displayed that offense a little bit more.
Yeah, that's something we've been working on. We broke it out a little bit in the spring game against Keystone. It's really a bigger piece of our offense than we've shown so far, but it's just something that our kids take a lot of pride in. We call it Jolly Roger, and so when we call for that unit to go on the field, they all know what's coming and what the expectation is, that it's smash mouth football coming right at you. And so that's something we told them. It's not a short yardage package. It's not a goal line package. We might start the game with it. We might start the second half with it. You just never know when we're going to call for it. But when we do, the boys better come running.
And I can appreciate the name.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, you've got a special name for that. It is the Jolly Roger
Well,
package.
when you got a relation to the Pirates or Buccaneers, I mean, there's so many fun things that you can do with that. So we're taking advantage of that as much as we can down in Branford right now.
Absolutely, because if people understand the history of the pirating, pirates would pull their ships alongside other ships and they would hoist
Right.
the pirate flag, their flag, and call it the Jolly Roger, and that meant, look here, you better surrender
Well,
or we're gonna
and
get.
that's exactly how that's kind of how we told the story is when you fly the Jolly Roger, that's that, should put fear in the opponent a little bit. So that's kind of our mantra when it comes to that and what we've kind of tried to motivate our players with.
Well, the first quarter was a scoreless quarter. It was a sloppy quarter. I called it a slob knocker. It was a mutter,
It
and
was.
there were a lot of mishandled snaps. There was fumbles on both sides, and there was a scoreless first quarter. It was the second quarter looked like it was going to be the same as we headed into halftime, but unfortunately, a turnover and then a couple of penalties moved the ball for Osceola close enough for their big guy, number 7, to just run it, punch it in on fourth down, and we headed into the locker room behind 6-0 at halftime.
Yeah, we did. I was proud of the way our defense played, not only in the first half, but all night long. We really didn't give up too many cheap plays or
Mhm.
any real big plays, but which is good, and that's one of our goals that we focus on and talk to the kids about. But we did do some things to just extend drives where we should have gotten off the field, and we were just unable to by a special teams error here or there, or a penalty at a time that would extend a drive, and it just kept giving Osceola chances. So that's something in this early part of the season we really need to focus on, and which we started talking about today at practice.
Well, we come out of the second half and it's the same story. It's a scoreless third quarter as we go into the fourth quarter, and then once again, their number 7 gets the job done, and the play looked like it was supposed to go left, and it was his own player that slammed into him and almost pinballed him back towards the middle. And it right towards daylight. Had his own player not knocked him to the right, I think that we would have had that tackle down there and possibly a no score. Did you see that
Possibly,
particular?
possibly, yeah. We had done up until that play, we had done a pretty good job of tackling most of the night and didn't have too many missed tackles. I think on that one play, we probably missed 4 or 5 tackles. It seemed like so. Yeah, I think it was kind of one of those things where it just eh, we either wore down or just lost focus on that last play inside the red zone, and it was a shame that we did. But it happened, and they went, like you said, they went up by another score.
Yeah, 12 to
Yep.
0. But then yet we come back down in the fourth quarter, and with 4 minutes to go, my guy, number 28, Cameron Anderson, gets the job done. And then it's a 12-7 ball game with still, a little over 3 minutes remaining in the ball game, and it's anybody's ball game.
Right. We still had a chance, and we went for an onside kick there and almost got it.
Yes.
Almost jumped on it. Brantley Bass, who's a new player for us, and our kicker, he did a really good job on that dribble kick, and our kids made a great attempt to get on it, and it was bouncing around there for a few seconds. I thought we might have it, but unfortunately we didn't, and they were able to run the clock out.
Yeah, and there were several times where the ball got away and we had opportunity to get on it, and it truly was a slippery pig, and it was almost comical, I would say. Unfortunately, we came up on the short end of the stick, but it was almost comical to watch those guys go after that ball and how it just squirts out. People at home just don't can't appreciate it unless they're actually right there in the mud with that wet football trying to recover it. But we didn't do a bad job recovering a couple of their Osceola's miscues.
Yeah, we had Cole Poindexter actually was got both of them. He got a fumble recovery as well as he also got the interception. He
Yep.
played a great game for us on defense the other night, and we David Lopez knocked another one out that we almost got on. And so it was like you said, if it kind of reminded me of those old Sports Illustrated NFL films.
Yes.
I can't remember what the
Bloopers.
bloopers, yeah, and it was like with the music in the background where the ball get kicked over here and then kicked over there. It was kind of a mess at times, but yeah, unfortunately, we did come out on the short end of it.
Yep. And it truly is. I saw the other night, truly is a game of inches. We were so close a couple of times, coach, and the ball just got away from us on a wet, slippery, muddy slobber knocker night. Now, we did notice that Ollie James was out for a series. Is he injured in any way? Is he
No,
hurt?
no, he's fine. He cramped a little bit, and that was it. No, he was fine. He practiced today with no problems.
Okay. Well, what did you say to the team following as the seconds ticked off and you gathered your team after the game?
Well, the first thing I told him, and I tell him this after every game, is I told him I love him. It's and I do. I haven't really known these kids for that long. Still, we're still early on in my tenure there at Branford. But I do. I love those kids. They work their tails off. They've had a great off season, great summer. You never want to get in a situation like that, and you never want to have things obstacles like that some of them you can help, some of them you can't. But at the end of the day, they're 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids out there on the field playing a game. And so I wanted to make sure that that they understood that the mistakes we made, we've got to fix, and I'm going to hold them accountable for. But it's not something that we can't bounce back from. And I told them, I've been telling them all summer, been telling them early on in camp. I've just been using the phrase, "It's a marathon, not a sprint." And we certainly would have liked to have gotten that win the other night, and it certainly would have been big for us. But it's a long season, and we need to learn from it. We need to make the corrections on all three phases, and come back ready to play this week against Eaglesview.
Yeah. And Coach, I've enjoyed my trips down there to watch you all practice. I've enjoyed my interviews with some of your seniors, and we've got more to interview for senior halftime spotlights for the Buccaneers. And I can tell you that everything is positive. They love the scheme that you've implemented, you and your coaches, and there's a lot of positivity with those players. It hurts our heart that the ball did not bounce our way the other night, and just a 5-point loss. I just think we ran out of time, possibly. But the loss is disappointing. But what positives are you preaching to the players this week? How did practice go this afternoon? And
Practice today was really spirited. We had everybody back. Everybody was healthy. Everybody, it, they it didn't feel like a Monday after a loss. Like we didn't have to get them up to be ready. I think that they were motivated. I think that they were disappointed with the result on Friday, and they came back in ready to go. And that's a testament to these kids, and where their minds are at and where their hearts are at in this game. And so for that, I'm absolutely proud of them. I told them, I said, we're getting back to basics. We're getting back to the fundamentals this week, and we're gonna work on our blocking, our tackling, our catching. Obviously we worked on a lot on center and quarterback exchanges, and making sure we had that shored up, and spent a lot of time on special teams as well. Special teams is something that we preached since we got there. That's going to be a strength for us, not a weakness. And so, the other night it was kind of the opposite. It was more of a weakness than what we had hoped it would be or what it should be in our scheme. So we worked a lot on that. We'll continue to work on that this week. But that's the big thing is I've been telling them it's part of our theme about focusing on the little things, and that's the successes in the details. And so I said, that's what it came down to the other night, and that was the difference in the ball game. And so we got to focus on that a little bit harder going forward.
Well, that one's in the books. There's no going back. So It's time to look forward, and that's exactly what we're about to do. We're going to take this break, and we're going to call this the Southern Suwannee Sports Report this week. And we'll be back in a moment on rivercountrysports.com to wrap it up with Coach Will Dettor and look ahead to another set of Warriors coming our way.
In the heart of the red zone is where the game is won, and you need a dealership that knows about scoring big. At Roundtree Moore Ford, we've scored this area's largest selection of new and pre-owned inventory. And right now, we're scoring rates as low as 0%. It's time to get out of the stands and score big in the Roundtree Moore Ford red zone. At Roundtree Moore Ford, the customer always wins. So make your next ride a touchdown at RoundtreeMoreFord.com today.
Every student has a future waiting for them. At the Suwannee County School District, we're helping them discover what is possible. With certified teachers who know their students, possibilities inside and outside of the classroom, and pathways to prepare them for college, careers, and beyond. we are giving every student a chance to find their passion and pursue their purpose. The Suwannee County School District, my choice for high-quality education.
Saddle up, Suwannee. It's rodeo time. The 6th annual Suwannee River Roundup Pro Rodeo will take place October 16th and 17th at the Bob Holmes Covered Arena at the Fairgrounds in Live Oak. There will be roping, along with bronc riding, steer wrestling, cowgirl breakaway, barrel racing, plus bull riding. Gates open at 6 with the rodeo beginning at 7:30. Saturday's rodeo will air live right here on River Country. Don't miss the rodeo October 16th and 17th in Live Oak. For more information, call 386-362-3004 or visit SuwanneeParks.com. Ready for the job on day one. Malcolm Hines is running for the District 3 Suwannee County School Board seat. He is a veteran, an educator, and a leader, having served 26 years in the U.S. Army, retiring as a sergeant major, holding a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees, being a former Suwannee High School principal, assistant superintendent, and director of safety and security makes Malcolm Hines the man for the job. Vote for trusted conservative leadership. Vote Malcolm Hines for School Board District 3.
Paid for and approved by Malcolm Hines.
All right, and we are back right here on rivercountrysports.com with Coach Dettor. Coach Dettor, it's time to look ahead. That game's in the past. Let's look ahead. We got another Warriors team coming at us, Eagles View out of Jacksonville. What can you tell us about this new Warrior team that's coming our way this Friday night at Cleve Sykes Field?
Well, you're right. Eagles View is coming to town, and Eagles View has had a decent program over the years. It just kind of depends. They're smaller private schools, so some years they've got a core group. And the numbers are similar to Osceola's on the sidelines and on their roster. They played a good team last week in Old Plank, and so I'm looking for them to want to rebound and show what they can do. They also played on a sloppy surface, so it's a little hard to tell from the film, on how athletic they could be, because it was quite the quagmire on the field, and they really couldn't get a lot of either team could get a lot going, but. We're really focused on us, like kind of we talked about in the last segment. We're focused on us making corrections from last week and stacking good days upon good days at practice and really trying to correct our issues. And hopefully that'll take care of things. But they're a spread team similar to us. They've got a decent size, pretty good size running back that they like to hand the ball to. They like to throw the ball out of the backfield quite a bit. Defensively, they're like a 4-2-5 defense, and so we'll have our work cut out for us. We're looking for another hard fought game. We're not taking any opponent lightly. So
Well, I know this week you're going to do what needs to be done, tighten the ship up.
yep.
And we're going to have fair winds and smooth sailing come Friday night for both teams. I hope it for
Right.
Eagles View as well. They deserve a good weather night of football. And I just believe that because I've seen you, Keystone, Union County, and even in the slop the other night, how the Buccaneers would get after it. And I am just confident that when we're tightened up, we're going to be hard to beat.
Well, I look forward to that as well. And it's senior night, so we're going to be honoring our seniors down there at 6:30. The festivities start, so that'll be a big night for those kids, and want to get their season started in their first home game, the real home game, where we can honor them. So hopefully it'll be a good night for them too.
Absolutely, yes. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a special night. Got a special group of seniors down in Branford, and we're going to honor them. 6:30 it begins, and then 7:30 kickoff.
Correct.
So, and we got back to Wayne Littrell here, who's going to wrap us up.
Well, and I have a few questions. So, Coach, I was just wondering, so you get your team, you warm up, and you get ready to play, and then you get into a long rain delay. How tough is it to get those kids back out of a locker room after that long of a delay and get them back ready to play football again?
Well, it can be challenging, especially the longer the delay. And the other night it was almost 2 hours, and probably one of the things that it was most challenging, but it is what it is. The other team dealt with it too.
Yeah.
Is once we got the word that we were going back on the field, we literally had 15 minutes to get from the locker room onto the field and ready for kickoff. So we had not gone through a warm up prior to that point. And since we got off the bus, and again, not to make excuses, the other team was dealing with the same thing as well, but it did pose some challenges.
Yeah, and imagine just playing in the rain like that. I mean, you don't. How many opportunities did you have to practice with a wet football to come get prepared for something like that?
Well, we had actually had zero. It has somehow, some way, since I got to Branford, even going back in the spring, we have not had a rain filled practice whatsoever. So we have not gotten a chance to work with a wet ball, but now we are.
Yeah, and Terry, the broadcast crew, that was your first experience with that group in a long rain delay. You didn't have a press box; you were under a tent.
We were under a tent. We were on the Osceola sidelines. We weren't even up high where we had a good vantage point. But Coach is right. I was in communication with the athletic director, and he said he was going to let us know when the decision was made. And the next thing we know, the players are coming out on the field and they're getting ready to kick off. So there was no warm up. So we're scrambling to hook the equipment back up so the viewers back home could watch the game
Yeah.
as it the late start of the game. And we missed the first 7 plays because we were still trying to unwrap equipment from protecting it from the weather.
Yeah.
To
And it's kind of the same thing. You get everything set up, and then you got to break it all down quickly, and try to keep things dry. But we ran in Live Oak. We had everything set up, and fortunately, we had a press box, so we brought cameras and everything in there, and we watched it rain for 2.5 hours. And our athletic director, Frank Allen, actually came out in the rain and walked the field, and trying to find out if we were going to be able. And about that time, here come a lightning strike, and so they ended up canceling that game because it was a kickoff classic and not a counting game. If it was, they would have played probably around 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
about as soon as they could have got that started. So I appreciate what you went through, Coach. But like you say, it was the same with both teams, so no excuses. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Eagles View Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. Suwannee, meanwhile, Crystal River. It's a road trip. Suwannee going to Crystal River, and that is a 7 o'clock kickoff for the Dogs this Friday. So join us on River Country for that one. Here's some other games around the area. Just stop me if you find one interesting. Vernon is at Dixie County.
I think Dixie County is going to do well against Vernon.
Do you think they're going to have a bounce back year this year?
Even though Dixie County hasn't been the Dixie County of old, I don't think Vernon's been the Vernon of old. And I believe that Dixie County is going to take care of business, especially Vernon having to travel to Dixie.
All right. Oak Hall is at Bronson. You got Hawthorne going down to Orlando to take on Bishop Moore. That'd be a heck of a matchup there.
That'll be a really good one. Yeah, I've gotten to see both teams in the off season, and Hawthorne, of course, is loaded. I think I saw somewhere today they've been in about 6 state championships.
Yeah.
And here recently, and Bishop Moore's had a great program for a long time down there in Orlando. So that should be a good one.
The Yellow Jackets, I believe. I think that's our producer. Tammy Neal's alma mater is Hawthorne. So I guess we better go Hawthorne Hornets. It's a battle. It's a battle of the bees.
Buccaneer fans remember last year in the playoffs, and so not a lot of Hawthorne fans in southern Suwannee County, I wouldn't think. Bellevue is at Gainesville. Here's a game that I'm looking forward to. Columbia travels to Jacksonville to take on the Bowles Bulldogs.
That should be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be a great game.
And, it seems like every week Columbia's playing a playoff caliber team.
Yeah.
Every regular season game is a playoff game.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Columbia played Camden in the spring game, right? And they won.
And they won.
And then Bowles just played Camden in the Classic last Friday night, and they won pretty big. So it should be quite the clash.
Yes, I agree.
Looking forward to that, one of the top games in the area. St. Augustine is at Palatka. You've got Westport at Bradford County. Union County, we saw them in the Classic this year. They travel out to Panama City to take on Rutherford.
Yep, that's we had actually looked at picking up Rutherford when we were looking for a week one before we picked up Eagles View. So that should be a good matchup. I think historically we played Rutherford years ago when I was at Union County. And I want to go back to one game that you mentioned before, if you don't mind me doing it, because I was involved in that.
Okay.
The St. Augustine-Palatka game. That is the oldest rivalry in the state of Florida. And so it's been a long time. I got to pull for the Panthers because the last time the Panthers beat the Yellow Jackets, I was the defense coordinator at Palatka.
Oh, no kidding.
So, so there's a group of us that we get together every when this game comes up. And so pulling for the Panthers.
On paper, it's a bit of a mismatch. I mean, St. Augustine's been rolling, and Palatka's trying to get back to that level.
I was going to say, can Coach hear me? Because I don't think it's going to go Palaca's way.
I don't think it's going to go their way either. Unfortunately, it'll be another year.
Lafayette is at home. They've got Tallahassee McClay coming in to take on the Hornets at Dale Walker Field. You got Santa Fe playing at Newberry. Hamilton County taking the long road trip to Bell, taking on the Bell Bulldogs. I know you'll want to see tape of that one because you got those Bulldogs coming up. Williston is at Chiefland. You got Eastside at Fort White. Buchholz at Vanguard. South Marion at Trenton. Any of those games you want to pick on?
All of them.
All of them? They all sound good.
They're all good ones. I mean, it's a can't miss Friday night wherever you go.
Yeah, there's some good county matchups. Santa Fe and Newberry and Williston and Chiefland. Those are some good rivalries right there.
Just nice to have football back. I mean,
Sure
it's that time of the year.
Yes.
Keystone Heights is at Interlochen. You've got Lecanto traveling to Madison. Taylor County is at Bozeman in Panama City. Wakulla at Gadsden County. You got Baker County at Clay. Gobbies and Rickards. Zarapath Academy, that's going to be Suwannee's homecoming opponent. They've got a Thursday game against IMG, their junior national team. I don't know a lot about IMG Academy. I know they've got one team that plays a national schedule, but I guess they have several teams that they work on out of IMG Academy.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And they're athletic, but they're not of the ones that you mentioned.
Yeah, this is the junior team.
Yes,
so yeah.
Yes.
Yulee at Baldwin, just a couple of the high school matchups coming up Friday night.
I am interested in the Buchholz game. They're heading down to Ocala to Marion County, taking on Vanderbilt. Is that? I mean,
Vanguard.
Vanguard. Excuse me.
You need to go up to Nashville. But yeah, Vanguard, usually a pretty good program, and Buchholz has been on a roll. They're expected to be one of the top teams in the state this year, so that'd be quite the test.
That's going to be one I'll keep an eye on as well.
That's where Coy Fryer ended up at Buchholz. So
that's right, Coy Fryer and others.
Started as a dog and now winds up as a cat.
Yes.
Go figure. As far as college football, we're not ready to start that yet. That begins next weekend with a handful of games.
I'm ready to start it. It's just college football's not started.
College football, Saturday the 29th, Florida State, their first game, New Mexico State.
Yes.
You're a Seminole.
I'm a Seminole.
Seminole.
Can we expect a bounce back year for FSU? What are y'all thinking?
I'm hoping that they play better. I'm just not sure that we can win the 8 games they're going to need to hold on to head coach Mike Norvell.
You think he's going to have to win 8 to survive?
I believe he's going to need to win 8 games to
just
survive.
getting to a bowl's not going to cut it.
No.
You only need 6 for a bowl game, sometimes 5.
I'm just glad they're starting off with the New Mexico State.
Well, remember last year
we have Alabama.
Alabama, and everybody got high hopes, and I mean that's hard to explain. You beat Alabama, and then things just crumble. But,
I believe that's the way it's going to go. We got New Mexico State, and then we go to then we've got Alabama.
Travel to Alabama,
Tuscaloosa. So
it'll be interesting. A handful of games though on that first Saturday. North Carolina takes on TCU. You got USC starting out. San Jose State. ACC game. North Carolina State at Virginia. That'd be interesting. Hawaii and Stanford is the night game on that on the week from Saturday. And then you've got Memphis UNLV. 8 games on the 29th, and everyone else begins Labor Day. I don't want to ask you this because, traditionally, as we grew up, football started Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're starting early August. It's awfully hot. You still got showers and thunderstorms, which is, Florida weather this time of the year. But what do you think about starting high school football? So, I mean, you guys started the 7th.
Yeah, it's very early. We did the same thing in Georgia, so we were I've been kind of used to it for the last 8 years, but it is quite early, and it is what it is. I know the FHSA and the other sports organizations have the challenge of trying to fit all these sports spring, fall, and winter into one calendar within a school year. But still, it's a lot to ask these kids, to be out there and be ready to practice or ready to play, and have enough practice in to get started. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Now you guys have kept to your regular practice schedule. Suwannee has moved their practice to the evenings because of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we did that earlier. We were, in the evenings from 5 to 7, and we were able to avoid, any heat issues and a lot of weather issues. We got a little lucky with that. So, I mean, I get where they're coming from. I get why they're trying to do that. I heard the other day too. Columbia hadn't had any they were not even having full contact practices or fully padded practices yet, due to the heat as well. So I think everybody's kind of having that challenge right now.
And the advantage to that, though, is that you go into the season, everybody's healthy because they haven't had an opportunity to really pad up and hit. So they're just.
Well, that's good and bad. I mean, you want to wrap up and tackle that first week of the season. So,
Yes.
and now playing on the wet field, and one thing that I was concerned about the other night was getting somebody injured, but you came out of that relatively healthy.
We did. We're injury free.
That's awesome.
So
all right.
Happy about that.
Well, Coach, I want to wish you good luck against Eagles View, another set of Warriors, as Terry mentioned this week, and look forward to keeping up with you all season long. I'm pretty sure you guys are you said the attitude of practice is great, and nobody took that loss with their head hanging down. I mean, that was a hard-fought game. You got to be proud, as you mentioned, love the guys, proud of the guys, but I got to be proud of the effort. Some crazy conditions, but hung together, this early in the season.
Yep, I was, and it's an early loss, and we'll bounce back from it. And as I said before, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So
Yeah.
we're looking for a long season, and we'll make the corrections and come back and put a good effort out on the field this week.
All right, home opener, Buck fans. So let's get to the stadium and root on the Buccaneers this Friday against Eagles View and against Suwannee on the road this week as they open up the regular season. They'll be at Crystal River, and that is a 6:30 airtime, 7 o'clock kickoff as Suwannee goes on the road. Both Branford and Suwannee, those games live on rivercountrysports.com. That's going to wrap up this edition of the Suwannee Sports Report. It airs live Mondays at 7 o'clock and then is archived on our website for you to view anytime. The Suwannee Sports Report is presented by Roundtree Moore Ford and brought to you in part by the Suwannee County School District, along with the Suwannee Bulldog Quarterback Club, and along with the Branford Buccaneers Quarterback Club. This week's show is also sponsored by Malcolm Hines, District 3 School Board candidate. If you haven't already voted, Election Day is tomorrow, Tuesday, August 18th. That's going to wrap it up. I want to thank Miss Tammy Neal, our executive producer, our streaming producer, for Coach Dettor, for Coach Fillyaw here. I'm Wayne Littrell. We'll see you next week on the Suwannee Sports Report.